the end game for NBFCs? Is it NBFCs or eventually, what is the push? Is there a push, Mr. Iyer? What is the, just your thoughts on that?
I think it's a choice we will make, right? I think Umesh said it right at the first answer, that if we wanted to be a bank, we would have applied for a bank then. But we chose to be an NBFC. And likewise, when a time comes and you think that bank is a better model compared to NBFC, one will make that choice. I think it's choice. Nobody will push you to do A, B, C or D. Because, if you look at the upper layer NBFC, all the industry houses largely, we are all sitting out there. So there's also a regulatory change which is required if we have to become a bank or whatever else. But I think it will be by choice.
I've asked you this before, Mr. Revankar. Your thoughts on this?
No, I think Ramesh has answered it. So I don't think. See, why do you want to know end game? There is nothing like end game.
I don't mean end game in that sense. I mean, what's
if at all it has to be decided, it has to be decided by the regulator. So I don't think the NBFCs would be happy to be in the place where they are because they're servicing the customers. They have chosen to be in this space. So I don't think there is. You need to really look at what is the next. I don't think it is necessary to look at unless there is some serious thoughts on part of a regulator, government, and how to increase banking to the segment which we are servicing as a NBFC. If they at all they decide, then probably there will be some way out. Otherwise, I don't think it is necessary. Because if you remember in 1969, when they nationalized, government had a thought process that I want to make banking available to all common man. So that was the thought process. Unless that kind of a thought process comes, I don't think there is a necessity.
I think just want to add, every 10 years or 5 years, this question gets asked to all of us. And then we are still continuing to be NBFC, so I think...
Jairam, your thoughts?
See, with the greatest regard and respect for both Ramesh and Umesh ji, I will say that I have a slightly different view. See, Ramesh and Umesh ji have the great advantage of having deposit-taking licenses, right? So they can actually get consumer deposits.
This is competition speak, okay? Don't worry.
When you are a large NBFC who doesn't have a deposit-taking license, the thing you got to worry about is how large can you get with having your liability side completely dependent on the wholesale debt market. We've been talking about increasing depth in Indian debt markets. Lata has been doing shows on this for what, like 15 years now or something. The depth is what it was, like it has not gone up. So there is a point beyond which raising debt wholesale to manage very large NBFCs is hard. It's a little bit easier for you gentlemen. For people like us, it's a little bit harder. So I do think there is merit in coming up with some approach through which larger NBFCs can access public deposits or retail deposits, whether it's through a banking license or through some other means. But that granularity in liability side is super important.
I think you would agree with that, right, Mr. Sabharwal? You would agree with Jairam?
I think we all know that liabilities is one of the most important things for any lending institution. Not only, the amount of liabilities, but the stickiness of those liabilities, the cost of those liabilities, all of them are extremely important. And the more broad-based they are, the more granular they are, the more stable will be the book. And I think I would agree with Jairam on that point. We need to find out, since we said that the credit needs of the economy are pretty large and we want more institutions to become larger, there is a need to look at how liabilities can be made more granular and more diversified for a stable system to exist which can keep growing.
Well, different perspectives, right? That's what.
Just to add to that,
yeah, please.
We should also commend the regulator here because time and again they have given opportunities for the choices to be exercised. A concept of small finance bank came in the last decade. So wherein the companies who chose their journey in that way were able to access that license. Today we are speaking on-tap banking license. So the regulator is also aware of the fact that a person progressively who wants to take a leap of faith in that journey is allowed that access. So there are today choices available on both sides of the table. It's actually up to the individual entity to decide what is their path in the journey. So that way it's a fair play, I think.
The screen here is telling me that our time's up, but I just want to ask all of you just one last question, very briefly, if all you can tell us. You know, earlier we used to have like sector champions, right? NBFC dominating one company, dominating in one sector, being the big boy there. But now it almost seems like everybody is getting into pretty much everything. I mean, is that what we're going to see, over the years, over the coming years?
I hope not. I hope there is a diversity of business models that is out there. Even on this panel, you see people with fairly diverse business models. You have specific product champions who have over decades built spectacular institutions. You have
who are getting into other businesses as well. Leaders
yes.
in one, but
yes. But let me put it this way. Michael Jordan did try baseball for a little while. But he was Michael Jordan, and he was known for being what he was, right? So I think India is a very large country. The lending needs are extremely large, and it does need a lot of very different kinds of players to satisfy it. And I hope that 1,000 different flowers bloom in this market.
Mr. Sabharwal, any perspective?
What I have seen is this, that when you're small, probably you can focus on a single product and make it large. But the moment you become large, you need to diversify your risks because you want to be less susceptible to what happens. You want to be more granular, and that is what leads to getting diversified across asset classes. At least that is what we are seeing among large companies.
Mr. Iyer?
I think our product is money, right? And everything else is a underwriting collateral. We actually get mistaken by saying, oh, you're in vehicle, you're in housing.
But knowledge,
that's
sir,
a collateral, right?
But knowledge about a particular...
So therefore, what we do well is we recognize our product is money, and we build our knowledge around the collateral that we know to manage better. And therefore choose a segment that we want to work with. So therefore, all NBFCs will get into all products, undoubtedly in my view, but they will have a prime product which is their larger balance sheet, and there will be a supporting product which will help them bring down the cost, will help them grow a little more, will de-risk to whatever extent possible.
Sir?
There is a strong culture in any company, especially the company which is having spent 30, 40 years in the particular industry. That culture will take the lead and will be dominating in certain segment which you know very well. Then other segments also will try to do depending upon what customer needs. Most of the diversification or most of the addition of a product, most of the improvement what we do is based on what our customer wants. I don't think anyone will go into a totally new segment which is totally unknown. That's not possible. So I think every company will grow, mature, and as Rajiv rightly said, that you need to diversify a little on asset classes because of a cyclicality. Because the cyclicality can hit you if you are totally dependent on one single product.
And Muthoot knows that more than anybody else, right? I mean, gold single product, but now diversifying.
Correct. And it is a natural progression for anything. I mean, when you grow big, you have to diversify because you want your eggs spread out in different baskets. And this asset classes are dependent on various time series also. You have products of very short time and very long tenure. So, and the repayment culture changes as per asset class. So yeah, as you grow big, it's good to diversify, but core being core, you will have a large part of balance sheet of a single product, and that should remain, I mean.
All right, I think I have many more questions, but we don't have the time, and then, so I think we'll wrap it up here. Thank you very much, all of you, Alok, Mr. Revankar, Mr. Iyer, Mr. Sabharwal, Jairam, thanks very much for joining in.